Nick Zito's love for racing began at a very young age.
You know, my dad took me to the track when I was 6, 7 years old. And, you know, the security guards would watch me because I was too young to get in. I don't know, as I got older, it just got in my blood. And it's just something I always wanted to do. My first stake race was 1977, if you could believe it. And I was a young trainer, I had jet black hair, and there was a little jockey. I think that might have been his, it certainly was his first stake race in New York. He rode a filly called Sylvan's Girl, and the jockey's name was Steve Coffin.
That should have been a sign that Nick Zito was destined for great things to come. He's won over 1,500 races, including 2 Kentucky Derbies, 1 Preakness Stakes, 1 Belmont Stakes, and hundreds of Grade 1 races. He has earned the reputation from his peers of knowing how to find his way to Louisville, Kentucky in May.
I'm appreciative to the fact that they like the fact that we like to get the 3-year-olds to the Derby. That's what we like to do. That's how I made my reputation. You know, a lot of trainers could train grass horses and dirt horses and whatever, and we think we could do the same, and we have. However, we specialize in that. And that's, hey, it's not a bad thing to specialize in.
Nick knows he can't get there by himself.
I think you're only as good as your help. I mean, I've said that forever, since I started in this business. You're only as good as your help. I mean, if you don't have the right people working for you, you're not going to make it. I mean, you can't. I do a lot of hands-on stuff, as you know. I try. I'm here. I pay my dues. I mean, I'm here. I put my time in all day long, but can't do it by yourself. Got to have good people.
He looks forward to the spring. Not only is there Derby in the air, but it's time that the new crop of 2-year-olds come into training. And it is the feeling of hope that the next great one has arrived.
Jack Klugman had a great line. He never seen a guy die with a yearling crop. And I think as long as you have babies, you're going to keep that motivation. You're going to keep it going. It's like coaches. You know, they get great players. You know, they're good recruiters. They go and see a kid play in high school, whatever it is, or college, and they get that player. I'm sure Coach Parcells, when Lawrence Taylor came into his life, knew he had a special player. So when a nice horse comes in there, you feel the same way.
What's one of the best parts of his day?
I guess the most enjoyable for me, believe it or not, is a quiet time, afternoon-wise. You know, you're just hanging out with the horses 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock, believe it or not. You know, leave like 5:45. And I like that a lot. You know, like because the phone rings and, you know, the owners are concerned with their property, or you're decent enough to call them, let them know what's going on. But I like that a lot. To me, that's solitude, you know, if there was a favorite time. But for me, that's the best time.
What's the toughest part of being a trainer?
I would say the toughest job is the injuries, because that's hard to swallow, you know, because you know it's going to happen. You never want it to happen. And every day, you know, you got to be 80, you got to be like Methuselah to get over it. You got to be really old to get over it.
The countdown for the 2008 Derby is here, and Nick has several hopefuls. He won the Fountain of Youth Stakes with Cool Coalman in February, and the return of last year's 2-year-old champion, Warpass.
And Warpass, and he's opening up with ease here. No surprise as Warpass begins his road to Louisville.
How does he prepare for the journey?
Well, you know, as usual, there's always bumps in the road. You always get sidetracked. I try to tell people, don't make too much of it in January, February, or even March. Wait till we all get assembled there in April, and I'll be there standing. You know, as you remember a few years ago, I had to put a fence up. I didn't care because I was there. What bothered me was getting there. The Derby is very hard. You get, you know, a problem here, a thing there, you get sidetracked, a bump in the road, whichever terminology you want to use, it's hard getting there.
Nick sums up his career with his trademark New York style.
I'm lucky. You know, like my friend has a great expression. You know what he said? I'm not that good, but I'm lucky.